Hello, and welcome to another Rouge unit of the week. And today we're taking a look at the 39M CSABA armoured car. 39M CSABA was a pretty standard late 30s reconnaissance armoured car. It was actually designed by this man called Nicholas Straussler, a Hungarian citizen who in the interwar period ended up immigrating to England. From England, he worked with Vickers Armstrong and helped the Hungarians design this armoured vehicle. Later on in the war, because Hungary was part of the Axis powers, he actually helped the Allies develop the flotation devices for all the DD tanks. Apart from that, it's a pretty standard, or maybe a little bit lightly armoured, reconnaissance vehicle. 4 wheels is armed with a 20mm Solifan anti-tank rifle, not an autocannon, and a standard machine gun. Just a bare amount of armour to allow it to survive small arms fire, and the Hungarians would build roughly just over 100 of his vehicles, which is pretty standard for what would be a minor European power. It would be used throughout the entirety of the war on the Eastern Front against the Soviets, even into 1944, as the Axis armament is not yet superb, but a reconnaissance vehicle's, primary purpose is reconnaissance, not so much frontline combat. In-game, the 39M CSABA is a 15-point recon armoured car available to Hartelek, 2nd Hungarian Panzer, 1st Hungarian Panzer, a really tank, Tartelek, as well as the 25th Infantry Hungarian Division. And it has 2 weapons. So you have the Swiss 20mm anti-tank rifle with 90 rounds of armor penetration ammunition, 40mm a pen, 2 damage, 50 suppression, 60% accuracy, a range of 500 meters, and a rate of fire of 26 rounds a minute. It's basically just an anti-tank rifle in an armoured vehicle. Not necessarily a tank, but an armoured vehicle. And we also have a machine gun. It's your standard 8mm machine gun affair. Pop down to miscellaneous stats, it has 10 frontal armor, strong top armor, 10 side armor, and 10 back armor. It goes 33 kilometers off-road, 65 kilometers on the road, has medium stealth, and very high optics. So in battle, the 39M CSABA is the bare minimum of a recon armoured car. Or maybe not the bare minimum, it does have some sort of anti-tank capability, it's not just a machine gun carrier. But the anti-tank rifle, if compared to a standard 20mm autocannon, it's just not the same. Really, it's a lack of range and fire rate, which really screws you over. It still has the same lethality in regards to rough penetration and damage, but you're not going to be as reliable killing stuff, even at closer range. However, the real advantage of this is the price. At its 15 points, it is a very cheap recon vehicle, making this a rather good vehicle to spam, especially in the early game, because it is a rather fast, so not that fast, armoured vehicle. You can get a bunch of these out, scatter them along either the more secondary objectives, just for some reconnaissance, and if some half-tracks or light armoured vehicles come by, you have a chance of killing them, and it is also 15 points from them there. So if you kill really just one thing, you've kind of paid yourself off in a pound-to-pound basis. You do have pretty good availability of them as well, with 6 in A phase and 12 in B phase, and really this is an A phase priority vehicle, as you're wanting to use this to try and counter light armoured vehicle rushes. It is definitely pretty worthwhile, especially in a lot of the Hungarian divisions, as just a cheap armoured vehicle, as sometimes you do get better armoured recon tanks, such as the Todi or the Panzer II for Hartneck. But it's 15 points, just remember, this is very cheap for some sort of anti-tank capability, and also very high optics, which makes this a very good recon vehicle. Overall, it's good, it's cheap, it's spammable, it's fast enough, it will get the job done for the price. It also just looks really cool. Once again, I love covering units which are a little bit more secondary to what we traditionally known as all the World War II armoured vehicles and tanks, and it's really, once again, one of Steel Division's major strengths is the coverage of the more minor nation equipment, which you really just don't see in a lot of video games. And well, and leave it off at that. This has been another Rouge unit of the week. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as usual, please just take it easy.